Welcome, everybody, to Republic Light Chat Box. I'm your host, Liz DeToro, and here with a special guest today. His name is Christopher Jessup, and he is the chairman of Davidson County Republican Party. Thank you so much for joining us today, Christopher. And we're going to talk a little bit about how this all started, because I like to let people know where you guys are coming from, if you're a candidate, what position you have within the Republican Party. And so tell us, how this all started with you.
Well, thank you, Liz, for having me on. I really appreciate it. I've started in the Republican Party when I was a teenager, about 15 years old. I began working on the Bush-Cheney 2000 campaign.
Oh, wow.
I became very interested in that as a teenager, a freshman in high school. And I started basically handing out things at precincts, voting, polling locations, putting up signs, any type of task I could find. And that's basically how I got started with, and just worked up from there.
Wow, that's amazing. That's been all these years and you're still in the Republican Party, because today, especially, I'm talking about more today in the millennial kind of generation, they kind of flip-flop in decisions that they do, whether it be politics, whether it be jobs, whatever have you. What can you talk a little bit about what made you stay? What about the Republican Party that made you stay?
Well, there's a number of reasons that caused me to stay and to continue working in the party. First, my grandmother was very active, and especially in her retirement years, with the Republican Party. If it was any conservative publication that she could get through the mail, she had it. And so I would read those things as well, and she was very adamant in her beliefs. Also, my faith is very important as part of my politics. Mm-hmm. And politics, we can change things through politics. And when we get the right people elected, that changes things. And helping those folks get elected and leading in ways that help the right candidates get into office makes a huge difference for whether it's our cities, our counties, our state, or our nation. And so those things just have kept me interested for the many years that I've been involved in trying to help those that are the best folks win.
That's really important, that we vote with our morals and our values. I think that has been lost to the point where people are voting based on generations of this is how our family voted and this is how we'll do it, versus what is it exactly I believe in. In my case, I came to the Republican Party based on the Constitution. And the idea that we have to defend our rights. And there has been lately, of course, we know a little bit of tyranny going on. Of course, you can't talk about it because then you become some kind of conspiracy theorist. So I kind of leave it at bay. But those of you that are watching understand that Republic Light is geared towards bringing in not only the Hispanic and Latinos, but bringing in those people that are independent thinkers as well. And you vote because you believe in the Constitution, because you believe in your values, and you want family, and you're pro-life. And there's just like so much that we can continue to talk about. But of course, we don't have too much time. I want to get more into the nitty gritty about you. So what accomplishments have you been able to see?
Well, let's look at North Carolina, for example. Okay. North Carolina in 2010 was the first time when Republicans had taken over the General Assembly. It's the first time in 140 years Republicans had controlled the General Assembly. Democrats have controlled the state for, well into, at least 140 years, as I said. Anything that happened in North Carolina, good or bad, could be laid at the feet of the Democratic Party. And so since 2010, the Republican Party has advanced in North Carolina. We had a Republican governor for a while. We've had two Republican lieutenant governors. We control the Council of State. We've swept all the judicial races in 2020 here in this state. And that's something that's phenomenal in North Carolina's history. For many years, North Carolina would always vote Republican at the national level, as president, senators, and things like that for the United States Congress. But when it came to local and statewide races, they were all solely Democratic. Davidson County plays an integral role in providing statewide candidates who are Republicans the votes they need to win. And that's why when I ran for chairman and when I was elected, I pledged that we would be a unified party and that we would try to make Davidson County the keystone of victory for North Carolina Republicans running in statewide races. We have the votes here that provide the margin of victory for those candidates. And working together and making our party more recognized and visible in the county, I believe, will expand our base, and it has so far, and make it more attractive to people who share our values.
Okay. And, the other thing that I wanted to reach out and talk about is how we are seeing a merge not only in the Hispanics, but in the Black community as well for Black conservatives and those that are coming on board. I understand that you are working to be able to make it more diverse, which is great. I really do believe that is something that's very needed. Not that Davidson County isn't diverse, because we have become, actually, because when I got here, it was 2006. I came to Thomasville just to visit. I was just coming to visit my sister. And she had said, well, what about living here? Why don't you live here? You see how pretty it is. Because, of course, I was in Jersey at the time, which was a total mistake. I went from Puerto Rico to Jersey, and I don't know what possessed me.
Wow.
So my sister was like, no, don't go back home, come to North Carolina. And I said, well, let me check it out. And I did. And I stayed. And I've been here since 2006. And I tell you, I'm not going anywhere now, especially that I have my grandchildren here. Oh, so that's one of the things that I really feel like has grown is the diverse population, because in the beginning, it was majority, obviously Caucasian and Blacks, but now we are seeing more Asians and more Hispanics and Latinos. And of course, when I say Latinos, I'm referring to Italians. So based on what you're saying and the accomplishments of the Republican Party, can you tell me why Hispanics should consider our new meetings and joining us?
Well, I think it's important to remember, and one of the reasons I'm a Republican is the Republican Party is the party of opportunity and equality. It always has been. And our party is so big, we have room for everyone that wants to get involved. And we need people. We need people with diverse backgrounds. We need people with different ideas. We need people that can use their talents that God's given them to grow our party. And that's part of what makes our party so strong, is that we believe these principles of opportunity. We believe in the principles of equality. And we've pushed those for, decades. And I think that's important for people to understand that. The Democrats try to control that narrative. They try to say they're the party of equality. They're the party of opportunity, when in fact they are not. And the Republican Party has stood for freedom and opportunity for generations, and we continue to do so. And I would love for anyone who stands with us in those values to join with us and to work with us to make Davidson County even better and make North Carolina even better. Davidson County is part of a 100-piece puzzle in North Carolina. There's 100 counties. And when you fit Davidson County in its proper place in that big puzzle, we are able to influence these races, as we said earlier. And then when you put North Carolina in its proper place, part of a 50-piece puzzle, then we're able to impact national elections as well.
Yeah, and that's very important, especially if we want to gain ground.
Absolutely.
But I think the stigma, and I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about this, but the biggest stigma that I have seen is within our community, the Hispanic community. There's this belief, because I know it's not true, that the Republicans just want to deport people. Now, I have the understanding that, at least in my point of view, and a lot of other friends of mine that came here legally, we really just feel like if you are going to come to this country, you need to do it the right way, to do it legally, because so many others have had to pay to be able to come here, lawyers and all kinds of stuff. And I've even sponsored too, because as you know, Puerto Rico is United States territory, so we automatically are United States citizens. And although I was born in New York, all my children were born in Puerto Rico, so we're still United States citizens. So we decided to help those that are trying to come in legally. What can you say to those people that are thinking, no, they just want to deport us, they just want to deport us? Can you confirm what I'm saying, that, we are all about coming together and bringing people in, but legally?
Well, we have to stand for the rule of law, and that's the key. And immigration is part of the law. Again, I'll go back to what we said. We have so much opportunity in the Republican Party that I invite people to come and get to know us, to see who we are, see what we're all about. And I would love to meet with people. I love doing that as part of being chairman. That's one of the things I enjoy the most, is meeting people. And so I invite people, if they have questions, just to reach out to us and ask us, and ask those hard questions so we can have a conversation and dialogue with them.
And if they did want to reach out with you, we'll take this opportunity so you can tell them.
Sure.
How can they get in touch with you? Can you announce the meeting that's coming up? Go ahead, by all means.
Well, absolutely. We always meet the first Thursday of every month, except for July. Usually we take that month off at Yarborough's restaurant in Lexington. We have an optional dinner at 6 o'clock. Some people choose to eat, some people do not. It's not required. It's just a good time to mingle for about an hour. The meeting starts at 7 o'clock and it runs to roughly 8 o'clock. We try to respect people's time and cut it off about 8. We have excellent speakers. Sometimes it'll be candidates, such as we'll have tomorrow night. We're having a candidate from North Carolina Court of Appeals coming. Sometimes it's topical things. We have people who work in colleges and teach about the Constitution, and sometimes we have different political action committee leaders that come in and tell what they've been up to. But as an opportunity for people to mingle and to meet candidates, to meet their leaders in Davidson County, and ask the questions they want to have. Also, if you want to follow us on Facebook, Davidson County, NC Republican Party. Please follow our page. You can see many things we do. We put events on there you can keep up with. And finally, if you'd like to go to our website, davidson.nc.gop, you can sign up to get on our email list there as well. And again, it keeps you up to date with what's going on. We have some good articles there and some interviews at times as well that provide people an opportunity to see what the party is all about.
Well, thank you so much, Christopher, for being a part today of the Republic Light Chat Box. I hope you've enjoyed the time we've been here, and I hope to see you again, and maybe some other topics. You'll come on board.
Anytime.
And those of you that are watching, if you would like some more information, we also have information about the GOP in Davidson County at republiclight.org. You can also write to us at the email you see on the screen. And if you have any more comments, you can also go to our contact area and fill out the form and tell us maybe there's a topic that you would like to talk about. So thank you once again, Christopher, for being on board.
Thank you.
And we will see you soon. Everybody take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.